You know, it becomes a bigger thing because fame is tricky because you read what's said about you, then you know what you know to be true, and the lines start to blur.
So, today we're going to be talking about Streamlabs. Streamlabs has had quite the week this week, as it turns out, and I have been watching this because Streamlabs is the software that I've been using for the majority of this year for all of the live streaming that I've been doing because I used it as a very simple way to migrate from OBS Studio to something that was a little more simplified to use. And in doing that, I started getting into everything. There's a lot of stuff that I made on this stream that you're seeing now that was all done in Streamlabs. And I was overall happy with it because I had used OBS for several years, for quite a while actually. I've been very familiar with the open source broadcasting software project, and open source software is something that I'm always using. I think that open source is one of the best things around. I still use Firefox. I've got all sorts of different open source GIMP, other things that are free and free to use, and they're there for the community. And I really believe in some of the open source the what's the word I'm looking for, credos, I guess we're gonna call it. And I rarely pay for software. When I do, it's for my business. It's stuff that I need, and it's things that I can't get any replacement for, or that I'm very much used to, like Word. I pay for Office 365 for a subscription because I'm very much used to Word. It comes up all the time in my business. Same thing with Adobe Acrobat, and there are several things that will consistently come up in my business and they're worth paying for. For the most part, I try to do everything with free tools. I do as much as I can with everything that's free. And so paying the fee for Streamlabs, it was, I don't remember exactly what it was, $150 in that range, $200, I want to say, maybe, for a year. I was trying to get, the most value out of it as I could. I even got their I participated in their affiliate program, got their merch store set up, all sorts of things that, I mean, they were nice to have. They weren't really things that I had done before. They weren't really necessary, but they were things that made life easier and automated a bunch of things, so I used it. And now I've got to go back from Streamlabs back to OBS. And as it turns out, Streamlabs OBS, I was not the only person who liked it because of the how similar they were to each other. And the landscapers are outside again. I hope it's not too loud on the stream. But the they called it Streamlabs OBS up until this week, and now they've got a pinned tweet letting everybody know that they've caved into a lot of the 2 days ago, they caved into the pressure that they were getting because they've been getting a lot of pressure. There's been a lot of streamers, a lot of people who have been speaking out against Streamlabs, and it's this whole week. I mean, I've been quiet for a week, and a lot of it was because I had some stuff going on in my personal life, and then on top of that, I had this happened, and I started freaking out because I realized that now I've got to migrate everything over and get everything that I've been comfortable with the stream migrated into another platform. I hate having to migrate platforms, but at the same time, the reasoning behind all of this, of how this happened, is something that I feel strongly about. There was a lot of shady things that were going on, and I can't support the company of Streamlabs. And I mean, that as hard as it is for me to move my business over and everything that I've been doing over to another platform, it's worth it. It's worth getting off of there and resetting my stream deck and doing everything else, because right now, I mean, I'm with everybody else on this one, on Twitter and on YouTube and everywhere I've been looking at this point, is that Streamlabs is kind of garbage. Sure, I mean, on the use end of it, there was a lot of things that were useful for me. There's a lot of things that were very easy. It's not the greatest of the multi-streaming platforms, but it was relatively cheap, and it was one that was based on OBS. It's a fork of OBS, and so if you're familiar with crypto, basically, this is just a fork of the OBS platform. And because of that ease of use, it was very easy to use. There are some streamers, I've seen CoffeeZilla and some others that have been really diving into how garbage it is. Meet Kevin's another one who's switched over to, I believe, StreamYard. Restream and some other ones are also pretty popular. Um, what happened here as to how this changed? Twitter was going nuts for the last week over this entire situation, and long story short, what it all started with, we go back through everything. Streamlabs had actually, oh, these are their comments. This isn't the actual. There we go. They had gotten this Streamlabs Studio where they're bringing the web-based Twitch streaming to the Xbox. And when they released all of their promotional material to announce all of this stuff, this was what they were doing up until what was going on. November 15th, they were talking about the announcement for the Xbox consoles, and then they have all of this stuff going on in their promotional material. And almost immediately they get hit by this company Lightstream on Twitter, and they're calling them clowns and basically saying that they stole everything that they had done for this entire promotional campaign from Lightstream's entire website. So they had several of the Lightstream employees were also jumping in on this to explain that, yeah, this is basically a blatant ripoff of what's been going on. To their promotional material was just straight up stolen from another company. And this is not the first time that they've stolen anything. As it turns out, Streamlabs has been stealing things from a lot of people for a long time. They're saying that they're helping creators make a living doing what they love, and they've gained all of this traction. But they did it. Now it's Streamlabs, but they did it as initially Streamlabs OBS, and in doing that, I'm one of the many people who made the migration from from OBS to Streamlabs, thinking that these companies had some kind of a partnership, something was okay, it was all right to do. And on top of this, when you go and look into everything, Logitech owns Streamlabs. They bought them for $89 million in September 2019. This is the official blog post from the Streamlabs blog. And Logitech is pretty well invested in gaming. They make the Blue microphones, Astro Gaming. They've got Logitech Harmony is one of the better smart home devices, and they've got a lot of gaming equipment. I use some of their stuff. I switch up between a lot of different companies like SteelSeries and Bloody, but I'm also using the Astro and some of the other stuff that they've got. And thinking that this is going to be a good company, but as time goes on, you start to realize that they've been stealing a lot from all sorts of people. Initially, it was just this is a smaller company, Lightstream. This is another one of the cloud-based ones. I'm not using it. I don't know how good they are, but they clearly stole everything out of here. And what really started lighting the match on the dumpster fire was when OBS jumped in. And OBS specifically came in here with this tweet that near the launch of Slobs, Streamlabs reached out to us about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyway and followed up by filing a trademark. Now, the trademark that they filed is for Streamlabs OBS, so they essentially took this open source broadcasting software, added their name to it, fooled regular people like myself into thinking that they were actually partnered, and OBS says that they're not. What follows is several days of people just coming in and just wailing on this company. It goes all the way up. There's a lot of streamers, a lot of celebrities that are doing it. Edward Snowden even jumped in and started to talk about how they're stealing everything. We had a bunch of employees from Streamlabs themselves. So they apparently have gone through a revolving door of marketers who they fired because they didn't feel comfortable about what was going on, the marketing, and how they were basically trying to steal not just the look of Streamlabs, and I mean, they forked the entire software. And since then, a lot of people will tell you that OBS has kind of surpassed Streamlabs in development. So there's a lot of things that are going on in OBS that are not available in Streamlabs. I'm going to be getting back used to all of that stuff over the next month. But they basically, any employee who was explaining that there's something going on and trying to be a whistleblower in any way were getting shut down. They were getting all sorts of pushback from all sorts of the C-suite about basically just do what you're told, and they thought it was unethical, they thought it was immoral, they thought that it was not okay to be using this name. The same thing happened with Elgato. I've got an Elgato Stream Deck, and if you're familiar with Elgato, they make. I've actually got several things from Elgato. They make the stream capture devices, the external stream capture devices, so you can take something like the Nintendo Switch and you can stream from there without any issues. And they they are saying that basically that Streamlabs is calling their mobile app for the iOS and Android Stream Deck. And this was another thing that I didn't bother to download any. That I actually just bought the Stream Deck. It's so much better, honestly. Stream Deck also has their own app as well, but the physical Stream Deck is a godsend, honestly, when you're a streamer, to be able to switch between everything and do whatever you have to do. The How did I do that? The Sorry, I was just I've been reprogramming the Steam Deck with a Stream Deck with all of the different things that I need to have it done with it. And this whole thing has gotten pretty messy. If you look at basically what's going on, it's all an SEO thing. When you look at here, it's not here anymore. There used to be. I'm using the Brave browser, so it's probably blocked even if it were there. But there used to be a ad sponsored post up here that was paid for Streamlabs to try to get on here. Now there's a bunch of new stuff and everything's going to be talking about it for quite a while. But Streamlabs still does show up in here. When you look up OBS, they still show up. The reason is, like myself, is that OBS is one of the most popular and most widely used streaming software platforms out there. And I mean, this has been true for a very long time. I can't even remember when I got this. This was pre 2010, I want to say, when I initially got onto this. And it's a great program. It's definitely before 2010 I got on this. I'll have to look it up later. But they when all the crowd is going for this software and everyone's used to it. I mean, I'm one of the people who was trying to find something that was like OBS that would multi-stream and do all the things that I needed in a lot easier manner. And I that's what happened, is that they go through, you search everything, and you've got all sorts of SEO that have been done to get Streamlabs up in those searches, so that people end up paying for Streamlabs Prime and doing all of that. And I am paying for Streamlabs Prime. I've got it goes into March of next year, I want to say, when it finally expires. It took a minute to cancel this. I canceled it on what are we at, Friday? It would have been Wednesday. I canceled it after I caught wind of all this stuff going on, and I was immediately looking for what type of what can replace this. I still am looking at everything. I mean, I'm going to be working with a lot of. I've got Animaze right now that's going into OBS at this point, because it was Streamlabs up until this point, and I'm going to be getting everything set up for everything that I need to do. There's a lot of functionality I don't have right now that I was kind of getting used to, but there's a lot of plugins. There's a lot of things that can make it a lot easier, and I'll have it all set up soon enough. Um, Everybody else is on the same kind of tip right now. People are trying to migrate away from them. I pulled up Logitech. This is their most recent quarterly statement from their investor relations. And if you look in here, let me make it so you can see a little bit better here. When you look in here, you can see the asterisks on here saying that gaming includes streaming services revenue generated by Streamlabs, and this is their gaming right here is their highest earning for the 6 months, highest earning business revenue stream for the last 6 months and the last 3 months. So right now, you can imagine that the people at Logitech are just going nuts on on the leadership at Streamlabs. It'll be interesting to see what happens from here. I've talked to some of the Logitech people. I haven't gotten any statements on this, but I'm going to keep pushing to see what I can get from them to kind of explain exactly a breakdown of how much of this is really coming from Streamlabs and how this is going to affect everything, because there's a mass migration coming out of here, which means that this is going to be slowly, very quickly, not even slowly, deflating what is their largest revenue driving stream. Um, this is going to be a big fight that's going to keep coming up. Streamlabs, I mean, they're doing what they can. I guess we're living in a world now where just pinning a tweet to your Twitter account is enough to get all this stuff gone. But I mean, this is in all reality going to cost them a lot more money than the change from Facebook to Meta did, or even like Google to Alphabet and all that stuff. That those were all for antitrust kind of things. This is just flat out the entire company, the entire time it's been around, has been basically stealing other people's IP, stealing other people's uh, work, doing everything they can to make money off of doing as little as possible. And I mean, we basically allowed it through all of the streamers that have been using it. I'm one of them. I'm just as guilty. I've given them money. I have canceled it since. I still have it. I'm trying to figure out. I'm watching this for a long time, but I mean, OBS right now is where I'm stuck until I start figuring out. I've been looking heavily for the last month now for whatever I can find that's going to let me get a lifetime deal on a streaming software, because StreamYard, from what I hear, is great. There are a lot of things that are great about a lot of these different platforms. Even Lightstream is supposedly a really good platform. It was good enough for Streamlabs to steal from. But at the same time, I don't want to have to pay for these monthly fees anymore. I did it on a whim for this one, and I was going to make it work with what I had, but I didn't even make it the full year, and all of a sudden Streamlabs is basically going down the shitter. And I'm jumping ship like everyone else. I have no reason to stay loyal to this company. They stole from everybody, and as a freelancer, I mean, I've been working in the creative field for the last decade, over a decade at this point, and I've seen so many crazy things happen with people's work getting stolen or people not getting credit for the work that they're doing. For me, it's just a matter of morality that I just cannot support this company, knowing that they made all of this money. They made $90 million just off of the buyout from Logitech, and they're still bringing in, God knows how much of that 300 million in 3 months was from Streamlabs. They're bringing in a ton of money off of streamers. They're honestly, I'll even tell you, I tried ordering a bunch of merch. I made merch when I got on here. You could probably find my Streamlabs merch store up still. I don't know how to get rid of all that stuff until the thing expires, but none of that merch ever came in. There was a backpack, a hoodie, a shirt, a hat. I got a mug. They did send me a mug, but beyond that, I mean, I paid like $100 for my own merch, and I got none of it. So everything on there, it's quite clear that they've been cutting corners the entire time. They've got nothing but ex-employees on Twitter over this entire week who have just been railing on this company and really digging into just how bad of a company it is. Everything that's been going on here, that it's been all corroborated. I can't even talk. Corroborated by all sorts of people. They stole everything from OBS. OBS was not okay with how all that stuff happened. They stole their marketing from Lightstream. They were not okay with that. They've apparently just been having the shadiest business practices for as long as anybody can remember. So that is basically why I'm now migrating over to away from Streamlabs to OBS. Man, I can't talk. And so that's why I'm migrating away from Streamlabs, because it's just a bad business. I don't support it. I can't get down with that. I'm sorry. I'm creator first. I can't sit here and support a company that I know is ripping everybody off. I'm going to donate some money to the OBS people. I'm going to go through there and reacquaint myself with my old friend that I haven't played with in a while to see what's good with it. And until then, I'll be looking for any kind of software that I can get for streaming that's going to help fix some of the problems that I've had with Streamlabs, with OBS, with everything else that's going on. But that's where we're at, and that is why Streamlabs is basically being railed everywhere you look, because they have been stealing from everybody for a long time and firing anybody who told them it was unethical. That's not something that I can support here, and I hope you don't either. Hope you have a wonderful day.
That moment in someone's life where they're trying to figure out who they are and what their identity is, it just gets magnified, and it becomes a bigger thing, because fame is tricky, because you read what's said about you, then you know what you know to be true, and the lines start to blur.